Hello, you wonderful people. Welcome back to the channel. Instagram has been busy. Honestly, 2025 in general is on like 2x speed, 4x speed right now, like just rolling through, no?
It's hectic.
So we're going to give you the full rundown on all of the new Instagram updates, from changes to the feed, to Reels, to the algorithm, to new apps, and more. Let's just dive right in.
Alrighty, the first Instagram update you need to know about is the new Reels feed. So when you go to the Reels tab, you'll notice a little bubble up top with some of your friends' profile pictures, which will lead you to a dedicated feed of Reels your friends or people you follow in general have liked or added a note to. This intention is to spark conversations between friends or accounts about the content and overall get people to be more social.
This is something they're really talking about, is that like we want people to be interacting more. We already know in the DMs is a big thing that they look at and is a major way to rank. And we also know that sharing and sending is the main metric, or one of the main metrics that they're looking at.
Yep.
So this makes sense that they're like, please just talk to each other.
Basically,
Yeah.
yes, exactly right.
Yeah.
This gives you even more reason as a business to be active on Instagram and engage with posts, because you'll have increased opportunities to come up in that tab for those who follow you. And on the other hand, you'll want to be really careful about what you like on your business account, because it'll be even easier for your audience to see.
Which we've spoken to clients about before,
Yeah,
where we're like, hey, we saw you like this. This is not for this page,
Not
this
the
profile.
one.
That's for your
Get that
personal
burner,
profile.
get that Finsta.
Now, the next very controversial update that came out this week, or at the end of last week, is the introduction of the tall grid, is what they're calling it. So rest in peace to any aesthetic you were curating with square images, graphics, carousels. All that is gone. The profile grid has now been converted to portrait framing that Instagram has said better aligns with all the vertical content that's shared. And yes, there is a ton of vertical content that gets shared, so it makes sense, but it's like an overall want to simplify the profile, which we'll talk about more in a second. Typically, if your content was already being shared in 4x5 or vertical reel, so especially if you were just only sharing reels, it's not going to throw off your feed too much. But if you had curated a grid to the square format, or had text and graphics using up the square real estate, your feed is really looking wild right now, unfortunately. And we've seen a lot of people who are very upset with this, reasonably so. But it does seem like it is here to stay based on the roadmap that Instagram has shared. There is a solution for this. It's an adjust preview. I shouldn't even say solution, really. There is an option right now that they've immediately included, which allows you to do an adjust preview, so you can adjust the way that the photo or your image fits in the frame. But all it really does is end up creating like a border around your image if you just try to adjust the ratio. You'll see it here as we're talking about it. So it's not really a complete solution. A better solution would be that you're able to like zoom in, zoom out, and do what needs to be done. Or for other people is that you can make it a square grid again, but I don't know if it just feels like this is a real change this time. They test things, and we had seen tests about this a long time ago. We probably talked about it like 6 months ago, but now it feels like this is really here. So now what this means for you is your overall grid is looking like a 3x4 ratio, or will soon if it hasn't. So that's 3x4, which is also 1080 by 1440. What this means for you is that you'll want to produce your future assets in portrait or vertical formats, and be mindful that if you have text, that it should be within a 3x4 guideline. I can do a quick tips video on this for you all if you'd like. Maybe just do it in Canva to show you how we were always keeping things in the 1x1 grid, and now how we'll be adjusting for the 3x4. Just let us know in the comments if that's something that you'd like to see. But this is a series in a long run of profile updates that we're gonna see.
So along with the new tall grid updates, we have a few more profile updates, as Tiff just alluded to. So the tall grid is only the start with all of the profile updating that Instagram is doing right now. They also announced coming down the line, we'll see the ability to customize thumbnails. And from what they've shown, it looks like you'll be able to zoom in and out. Highlights, this is a whole new one as well. Instagram Stories highlights will be moving to the grid, which means they won't be front and center right under the bio anymore. They said it's because it pushes the profile down and it's visually complicated. I mean,
I'm not thrilled with that one, to be honest. I love highlights and I love having them there. And I don't know if people are as engaged. We'll see how user behavior goes with it. But highlights was just like an easy, fast, immediate way for people to like get all of that behind the scenes information or that critical information. Where like, I don't know, it depends on how we basically transform the covers of the highlights. I feel like they might need to be more pronounced in terms of really putting a text on what that highlight is, where before you wouldn't have to do that because you just had the little text underneath. So it depends what happens, but you really need to be descriptive, like make it visually probably more descriptive of what's behind that highlight to get people to want to click it, basically.
So it's going to be moved. If you guys know, the above the grid, there's the little tabs, and one of them is, say, you know, the photos that you're tagged in. Now or post you'd be tagged in. This is going to be a highlight one,
or
there.
The Reels tab,
or the Reels tab, exactly right. And now it's going to be there, which is it means people are going to have to proactively look for it. And the interesting thing is they just introduced them to be interspersed into the feed. So then you're going to take them off the profile and then hide them away. Maybe that.
Or maybe that's why they're doing
balances it out a bit to be like, hey, we're going to give you more like
real estate in feed.
In the feed for them, and actual proactive reach, feeding them to people as opposed to like they just go to them when they're on their profile. So
it's
very interesting move.
And also because I did see with stories, but this is also in testing, is that they're doing something where they're actually longer than 24 hours. So it's like if you missed a week's worth, someone's week worth, they actually are trying to push it to
stories,
the end. Of stories, and try to like push it to you to be like, hey, catch up on this. So obviously it's like stories are very important. Maybe they think they'll be used even more if they become a tab, but who knows?
It's
interesting. Lots of changes. That's what we're saying. January coming in hot.
It's not messing around. Big year. So Instagram are also giving us the ability to reorder our entire grid and an option to post only to the grid if we want to bypass publishing to the feed entirely. So just to clarify, think about you're using a software like Unum or Later or something like that, and you're moving, you know, you want to see what your grid's going to look like, and you're shuffling things around. They're going to let you do that in real time, which is hella weird, because then everything's not going to be in a different order, not chronological anymore. And instead, say if you do one of those like pretty tiled thing where there's like a 3-banger across or 6 or 9 like tiles that make one image, instead of putting that to the feed and then
which was always terrible when you saw. Do you remember when you see those posts in the feed and it's like a corner of something? It's like a blank space in a corner of a letter or something.
It's super annoying. So now you can just post those directly to the grid for things like that. I don't see them very often anymore, but that's going to be there. So that's an interesting development for sure.
Definitely. Now, the next Instagram update you'll definitely want to know about is the introduction of 3-minute reels. So they've been experimenting with this one for a while, and Instagram will now let you share longer reels. So they've actually been experimenting with 3 and 10 for a while. And when we saw this update, our immediate thought was that, okay, you've been saying that, you know, it's very strictly that a reel has to be under 90 seconds to be eligible for recommendations in the Explore and the Reels tab. But this week they confirmed that 3-minute videos will now be eligible as well. So technically, if you do push out a 3-minute video, it will show up in all the recommended surfaces like any other reel would.
Pretty cool.
If you have been feeling constrained and feel that you need more room for storytelling in your content, this is great. Otherwise, just because you have the space to do something, or just because, you know, I just want to say that, you know, like just because you have the space doesn't mean you need to fill it. So don't feel like, oh, okay, I have this 3-minute. I'm not going to make things like punchier or cleaner or any of these things. Like, if only put into your content what needs to be in that content. Globally, insights always show that shorter is better, but we'll see if that changes over time. But for now, just because you have the space doesn't mean you need to fill it.
The next Instagram update you need to know about, this is arguably the biggest one here.
This is a long overdue one, I would say.
Overdue.
I would say long overdue. The biggest one for me is the tall grid, but this is long overdue.
As far as maybe the larger impact.
Yes.
They haven't done this since Threads, but they're releasing a new video creation app called Edits. So this app will have powerful editing capabilities, creative tools, and actionable insights. Now, as Tiff said, this one was a super long time coming. CapCut really got to dominate in the short form.
Oh my gosh. Everybody used CapCut. Literally, like a lot of people used CapCut.
Easily the most popular editing app. It has to be, at least app. And it only makes sense for Instagram to create a rival editor that keeps people in their ecosystem. And we hope this means better editing tools inside of Reels as well. But what I'm thinking is it's probably going to be just better editing tools in the app, and it can tell whether you've used, you know, like Instagram like it when you use their native tools. So if you use the Instagram Edits app, my guess is that they will prioritize
you still have a
that.
beautiful.
That's the same
you'll
thing.
get
They'll
a
probably have
little algo
templates.
boost, a little algo
Algo
boost.
boost. They have the little templates in there and stuff.
Yeah.
I reckon that'll be completely like tied in to Instagram in a way that CapCut isn't, and that's what's going to be the differentiating factor. Otherwise, if people are used to an app, it's hard to get people to change.
It's hard to get people. Yeah.
It took this long, like nearly year and a half, to really get people sold on Threads.
Yeah.
So
it does take a while. I do hope though that it works its way into the Reels app, like the actual Instagram app.
And just fixes it there.
Yeah, just to make editing a bit easier in there, because honestly, we do see often that Reels can perform better when you have them. Obviously, Reels perform well, even if the most important part is that you're putting up a good, high quality reel. But sometimes it does feel you get a little bit more juice when you edit in app.
Right.
That's all we can say about that. Yeah.
We'll see.
And because in the middle of also getting this video together, a new update came. It's just so ridiculous.
It's been kind of
they're coming. They're hitting hard.
When you're editing.
I know, exactly. So this is something, we're going to do a full video on this because there's more to come and it's more detail than what we can do in an Instagram updates video. But it's actually more clarity on the way the algorithm works. So we want Instagram to share more and more information before we dedicate a full video to this. But, and we'll definitely leave this link for you below. But what Instagram is speaking to about is their ranking now and letting you know what their priorities are when it comes to how posts rank in the algorithm, and the 3 signals, which we've talked about before. So we've talked about specifically the importance of watch time and the importance of send rate. But another signal that they've expressed is very important to them now is likes as well. So the top 3 signals, so look at your rate. So basically you'd be looking at, for how much reach I get, how many likes are of that reach. For how many sends that I get, how does that compare to reach? And you'd be pulling your rate. So your like rate and your send rate or share rate. And then of course we all knew watch time was very important too, just like it is on YouTube here. So that seems like it's a metric that all the platforms are really trying to focus on. But I think that's interesting because it felt like likes were kind of downgraded for a bit, and now it seems that they're looking for that type of proactive engagement, which maybe is also why they're using that new friends feed where people are liking, and that's becoming a whole new feed.
There you go.
So we're seeing all this come live and around, so as more updates become available, we'll do a full new Instagram algorithm update video just to let you know.
Yeah, we're gonna need to,
We'll have to, just for any new information that's come out that we think is super valuable for you. So definitely, if you want to make sure that you do not miss that video, subscribe. You know what to do.
You know the vibes. Another new Instagram update that you need to know about is the Meta AI profiles, if you remember. So those came and they went pretty fast. So they were AI-powered profiles that were intended to exist and be able to be interacted with in the same way as humans, but there was so much controversy around them that they've already been pulled down. How long do you think they lasted? Like
so,
a day or two?
What's funny? They created them for a while, but then it's like they had them a while ago and talked about them, because I feel like we talked about it at the end of like a 2023 video, but they weren't really pervasive. And then all of a sudden, as soon as they like really started coming out there, it was like 2-3 days and everybody was like, take these out right now.
It's pretty bad.
And it had too much controversy around it, and they were getting algorithm boosts, and people are like, I want the boost.
Yeah,
like
why you give me this fake thing.
Yeah. So that was fast, but I wanted to mention because a lot of people had asked us about it too.
Yes, definitely. So look, we'll keep you updated on where these go next and if it'll impact us at all as business owners and creators.
And that is it. Those are the Instagram updates that you need to know about. And so many are coming at us very, very fast. So we'll keep making videos for you so that we can round it up and give you the most need to know updates and new features. We were actually just going to make this a video for our members, but so many things have come out so fast. We maybe will release it to them first, because you can do that for members. If you want to know about our membership, by the way, check it out in the description box below. We do bi-weekly Q&As. So if you have questions about things, you can talk to us live. We do live trainings. We give out resources. We have interviews. We do behind the scenes vlogs. Lots of fun stuff happening there. So if you like this video, or if you have thoughts about the updates, first of all, drop in the comments any thoughts you have, because we're so curious. There's a lot going on. But if you like this video and we helped you out, give us a thumbs up. And we definitely recommend that you check out this video next. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.
Peace.
Bye.